We know you love us, but the information on our podcast is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice of any kind. If you or anyone you know needs professional help, please seek mental health services. Welcome to the Date Podcast, the show for anyone navigating the dating and relationship world. We interview celebrities, talk pop news, discuss dating do's and don'ts, and debate relationship topics. We are available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and review if you like what you hear. Check out our website, datepodcast.com, for more information. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now, let's get on with the show.
Hey, it's Zorric.
Host of the Date Podcast, and we have another exciting show for you guys today.
And why is that?
Because it's not just you and me. We have more people here with us. Well, FaceTiming us. We have guests again.
I agree. We do have guests. And who are they?
It's Daphene Woods.
Hi, you guys.
Boone.
Hey.
Well, they're here.
Excited to have them.
Very, very excited because it's a very troubling time during quarantine. Lots of relationship issues and wins, losses and wins.
So we have the example of a win.
Oh yeah, we have the perfect couple here.
Of my
Definitely.
Thought, it would be a win-win-win because we all win.
Yeah. So that's a song. But so we've been talking about how to keep relationships going during quarantine and how to date. And they've actually won. They are winning because my relationship is losing. So,
oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You were recently single. I forgot you had not really announced that yet.
Yeah, so that's what's happening with me. It's not about me, though, today. So we'll talk about this lovely couple and their experiences, and maybe they can give us some, pointers on how to keep things going and how they got together, and just recommendations on how to date during quarantine, and then we'll just talk about Emma's news. But I think we're good to go unless any other announcements. Emma,
no.
Okay,
No,
let's do
I'm
this.
done.
Let's do it.
Okay, do we just dive in or?
Well, he's gonna block me. Play the music, please. There we go. He lives to interrupt me before I announce my news, and I'm over it.
Yeah. So Emma has a couple things to talk about. Some news.
Okay.
Some news.
So I was kind of annoyed when I read this article, but then I was like, okay, that makes sense because it's exactly what I'm gonna do. If this ever happens to me. So Katy Perry's pregnant with Orlando Bloom's child, and it's a girl. And so.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so the article story headline is, pregnant Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have yet to decide on daughter's name. She'll tell us. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so, this is so Katy Perry. She's so annoying. I don't like her. So I was just like,
this is definitely
whatever.
her style.
Right, yeah. But then I was reading it and I was like, okay, that makes sense because this is something that I plan on doing if the time to ever have kids happens, right? So they basically have a few names in mind that they want to name the daughter, but they haven't because they're waiting until she's born to kind of see which name best fits her. Which I'm like, that makes sense.
I mean, I get that, but I think there's definitely two sides for sure, because I definitely get that you kind of want to see the personality of your kid. You kind of want it to fit, especially as she's experienced a lot of name fraud in her career so far with, I think not being she was using that name and shouldn't have been, or it was someone else's name. I can't really remember, but
I can't remember either.
It was something like that. So I get it. And she wants the name to the kid to define the name.
Right.
But at the same time, she's a celebrity. She doesn't owe us anything. So really, we don't even need to know.
Yeah, right. And and Zorric, I don't know if you've experienced this too, whenever you have couples in the wife is suspecting or they're expecting, where they won't share the baby name on purpose.
I think I don't know if that's a good idea, because I think that leads to a lot of arguments, because
Right.
that's your baby, you named that baby, blah blah blah, because I think it needs to be shared by both parents, right? Not just
No,
one.
but it's like the couples, let's pretend that like we have a girlfriend in common that's pregnant, and then she tells us a name, and so a lot of people don't share because they're worried about maybe like being ridiculed. Like,
I see.
had we been friends with Gwyneth Paltrow and she told us that she wanted to name her baby Apple, like how my face would be very judgmental, and I would have been like, Apple? Are you kidding me?
Like, let's think about that
And
for
then
a
this was
second.
like Beyonce, would have been like Blue Ivy, but Ivy is green, right? I don't know. Wouldn't it be better if it was just Ivy? But again, that's me.
Sure.
Yeah.
I definitely think that makes sense. Like, a lot of people don't even want to do the whole how the gender reveals came about. Like, people didn't want to say anything because they didn't want them to steal their gender reveal type of party that they had.
Yeah.
So all of this I feel stems around people not wanting people to copy them off their baby stuff.
Right.
All of it.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways, I just thought it was funny, and I just rolled my eyes, and then I was like, all right, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, I guess you guys, yes, you have the right to privacy, which I never questioned that, but I was just like, I guess you were allowed to have a few names and then pick from that, but whatever.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep my favorite story for last. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have been hearing on the radio, but the Black Eyed Peas are back. Do you guys remember the Black Eyed Peas?
Yeah.
Of course we do.
So they're back, and I gotta say, will.i.am, for someone who, will.i.am has always been, working hard.
100%.
He has, he steals a lot from other artists and gives it to popular artists.
Disclaimer.
Yes. However, I still think he's kind of a genius. Britney Spears, oh my gosh, what's that song? Oh, that they did. They basically stole it from this British singer, and so that's why Britney Spears has a British accent. It's because they basically will.i.am basically copied her. Anyways, all that aside, so the Black Eyed Peas are back, and so everybody was like, "Where's Fergie? Where's Fergie?" Because remember, Fergie left right for a hot second because she wanted to focus on her solo career.
Right.
And then she decided to get married and have a baby, Axel, who's now 6. And so everybody's like, where's Fergie? Where's Fergie? And so the will.i.am, Taboo, and Apple the App were like, well, she's a mom.
As if she couldn't do anything else?
Well, I guess what the quote says, unfortunately, our schedule displays by her wanting to be a great mom, and she wants to focus on that.
Okay.
We support her 100%. And I'm like, or was she just kind of tired of having to argue with will.i.am because, I get it, he's a musical genius, but he also kind of seems like he's someone that would be really difficult to get along with.
Yeah, but I think we're happy that they're back.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Good music on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like how their music has evolved. It's not I don't know. I struggle with him sometimes.
All right. What's next?
He teamed up with J Balvin, and I was like, all right, I can do this. Okay. But that's it. So, no, I have one more story.
Okay.
So
Give it to
my
us.
favorite person in the whole wide world.
Favorite person, Madonna.
No, close.
The Rock.
No.
I don't know who.
She's an heiress.
Oh, Kim Kardashian.
No, gross. Kim Kardashian is not an heiress.
Okay,
That
fine.
is so wrong.
Okay, fine.
Ugh.
Paris Hilton.
Thank you.
Yep.
Paris Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
Paris Hilton was over this past weekend celebrating her 1-year anniversary with her boyfriend Carter. So their anniversary was in April, but they have to postpone it until this past weekend because of the coronavirus. And so we were all at the Hamptons, like having wine tastings. Very jealous because that's one of my goals before I'm 40 is to go to the Hamptons and drink lots of wine.
Bring me with you.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later because other people that are going on this trip. So anyways, it was really cool because I also got to spend time with her sister, Nikki, and then her husband and her 2 kids. I just love her, and anytime I can talk about her, I will talk about her.
Did you guys know that she's a genius, apparently?
Yeah, no, Paris Hilton
Didn't
is
know.
really smart, you guys.
Yeah.
No, she's like really
But I also
smart.
didn't care to know, I think.
No,
Same.
it's
She just really plays a dumb person, like on The Simple Life. Like she plays such a stupid person. But,
I don't believe it.
She's like a genius.
I don't believe it. But go
She
ahead.
is. That's like her persona.
Is she
Where's the proof?
Her
All right.
empire.
Let's
like
see,
her,
let's see.
So her granddaddy cut. I know this. Okay. So her granddaddy cut her off the will and was basically like, "You will not have any of this Hilton Hotel money. Like I refuse to give it to you for making wrong choices." Like in her early teens, like when she was doing The Simple Life with Nicole Richie. So her granddaddy cut her off, and she was like, "That's fine. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make myself a brand." And she really has. Like she is a DJ. Okay, she has perfumes. Okay, she has production companies. She is an artist. Let's not remember Paris Hilton. Like that was one of the greatest albums of all time. And honestly, anytime I can jam out to it, I will. So.
Oh my
I
gosh.
hear you with the receipts. I just wonder why she continues to play under this persona then.
Because it's worked for her. Because you kind of look
Makes
at Nicole
sense.
Richie. I feel like Nicole Richie was like, all right, I'm kind of done with this, and then stopped.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I'm a mom now. But I think for Paris, she's never really found someone to settle down with and get married or have kids. And so I think that for her, it's this is still the brand, and that still works for her, and therefore she's going to use it.
Yeah. I mean, she has money. She had money. I think she had some money to start her business too, right? I mean,
Probably her
100%.
daddy.
Yeah.
Her daddy didn't.
so obviously,
Her daddy has her in the will.
I mean, she's not like us. I mean, come on. She has millions of dollars to start a business.
Whatever. I still love her though. I love her so much.
Okay. What else, Emma?
That's all I got.
Oh, okay. Cool. So that was the news. So this happens every week. Emma talks about her favorite things. Mostly it's Paris Hilton and the Black Eyed Peas. That's all we talk about every week.
Bad Bunny.
And Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny's taking a break from Instagram right now. I
Yeah.
feel like I should probably follow in his footsteps.
But okay, changing topics. The world wants to know how do you have a successful relationship during COVID? Right, Emma?
Yes.
The world has been waiting for this answer. And I think
People want to
Daphne and David know the answer. But let's go into Daphne. So Daphne, where are you from?
So I'm a military brat. So I've moved around every 2 to 3 years or so, all the way up until I went ahead and went to the University of Arkansas for undergraduate. And then after I completed my collegiate career, I moved to Texas to go to grad school. And that's kind of what landed me here. Typically, I'm not used to staying in a place more than 2 or 3 years. So I actually am pretty surprised I'm still here.
Nice.
But so I moved around. So for me, I didn't really stick with, dating was not as traditional for me because I was so used to moving that I didn't really stay still for long. So because of that, I didn't really attach much. And I needed something below surface level usually.
So are you trying to say your relationships were kind of surfacey?
I wouldn't say all of them were. There definitely, as I went into college, definitely had some relationships that were deeper and longer, I would say. But I would say that definitely they still lacked something, obviously, otherwise they would have continued.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was on my part or whether it was on the guy's responsibility, it just didn't work out. And so both of those relationships actually in my past did involve distance. So that played a factor in action, I guess. I think one of the main things as we started dating that made it way different than any other guy I've dated, even though we're still in the beginning of this thing, so it's not like we're like 2
You're
years
still
in.
like TBD.
Yeah, so exactly, we're still to be determined. But shut up. But definitely was the intentional piece. Getting into this different season, right? Being in the pandemic, it kind of just hit us all out of nowhere. Intention was huge for the dating to actually thrive and for it to be dual relationship or dual responsibility towards the relationship, to actually being intentful and wanting to do things, wanting to change up the dating scene. Everything was closed. We couldn't go anywhere. So we could have definitely chopped it up to, let's just FaceTime. Like I think I kept seeing a lot of people doing virtual dates, which was interesting. We actually ended up going on, I think what was 2 dates before.
2 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 dates before everything closed. So we kind of had that in-person contact, but it was definitely
Still
for
very
me
fresh.
still
Yeah.
very TBD. He
Yeah.
had a different perspective, but at the time, for me.
What about you, David? What was it like for you, dating kind of before this?
Before, honestly, it was good. Honestly, I just swiped right on her, like with no intent of going on a date with her. Because honestly, I almost didn't even reply to her because she just said like a one word hey, just a dry hey.
I wasn't gonna send one of the little.
Was this on Bumble?
This was on Bumble. Yeah.
Okay,
Ooh.
so she was basically allowing you to like actually like start the
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
Which I did.
Zorric hates that too.
Yeah, I think you guys just should be presented to us, and we just say yes or no. I mean, that's the thing. That's all we want. Like, we don't want to work. We don't want to work. We just want the woman, and that's it.
So the opening line should be like, "Do you want to go on a date?" And that way, like the guy can be like, "Yes or no."
Yeah, it's like do all the work for us.
Yeah. So
I was definitely low sliding for that.
so David, second date, and how did you guys? Are you guys exclusive right now? I mean,
Yes.
Okay, so how did that happen? After 2 dates, or did you guys progress into more?
Really, kind of quarantine kind of determined that.
Yeah,
But,
I see.
but with time and spending intentional time together, you know, it just solidified our decision.
Yeah. So
What
you
do you
guys
mean by intentional time?
go ahead.
Like just spending one-on-one time, talking below, like she says, below surface level, like getting to know each other on a deeper level, like seeing where our thoughts and trajectories line up.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because right before quarantine, you guys, I guess, went on dates, and then now you guys are you guys have to talk to each other and get to know each other. So it's kind of a good thing, right? In a sense, because for me,
Yes.
but like for me, if there was no quarantine, I'm dating somebody, you're still kind of dating other people, right? So you're not really focused on one person. So your efforts are focused on other people. So,
Right.
but this is kind of a beautiful thing, right? You guys can focus on each other, get to know each other on a deeper level. Is that kind of what's been going on?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yes.
We do a lot of different things. I honestly feel like we've done a lot during quarantine that doesn't have to involve going to a restaurant or, I don't know.
Just trying to do stuff where we can safely social distance, like walking trails, just
Anything outside. We did a lot of stuff outside in the very beginning just to kind of get to know each other. And I think that you made a good point, like during the quarantine, it definitely was kind of like once it hit, there was really no interest to go into like dating other people because I had kind of created this, I don't know, I came out of this phase, out of this relationship really, and I was like, I'm just gonna date. I'm gonna find out what I need, what I don't need, what I like, what I don't like. I'm gonna give myself this freedom to just do it, like fully commit to doing it, like dating more than one person, just at a surface dating level to see, what I wanted. And then I just so happened to match with him. And it kind of was just like, I don't know, after the quarantine hit, it kind of made it seem like kind of icky to want to date other people. I didn't want to be around other people. I didn't know if you had the COVID. And with me being an essential worker, it was like I really don't want to be around other people if I don't have to be around a lot of people.
Right.
So somewhere in there though with it, because obviously if he wasn't intentional and great, this wouldn't have happened. But
It almost didn't. Quarantine saved you. I was about to start my hoeing season.
Oh my goodness. It is summertime.
I'm
Summertime.
curious to know, like, when you guys are looking at each other's profiles, like, what is it that like made you want to swipe right on each other?
oh shoot.
So I play the numbers. Since on Bumble you get an unlimited amount of swipes. I just swipe right on everybody, then filter through the matches. And I went to her profile. I was like, okay, she's very attractive. I said, okay, she's a mental health advocate. I said, Delta Sigma Theta. Okay, my sister's that. But then I was like, okay. I was like, I'll reply back to the little dry hello that she sent.
He's an ass.
but you know, Daphne, David's correct because the guys, man, we have to work. We gotta work for the
My
women.
fingers get tired.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
y'all get
God.
limited? Y'all get limits on Bumble?
Not on Bumble. It's an unlimited amount.
Yeah, we just are limited because like women, every guy is a match because we're all swiping right. All dudes are swiping right. Yeah. So.
See, then again, I'm glad that I like swipe left a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
It takes too much time.
Yeah.
Well, I have to screen. I have to look, and then I see what you do, and then
Yeah.
if I see something stupid on there, like somebody will say, "Don't ask about me. I hate that shit," and I'm like, "How am I
Then
supposed
why
to
are
get
you
to know you?"
Exactly.
Like this is a waste. Left.
Yeah.
I automatically swipe left on anyone that has a dirty mirror pic. See if you buy that.
Yeah. So
Like
Yeah.
that mirror.
so how was y'all's first date? Walk us through that. Was it at a restaurant or coffee or park? What
It was at Top Golf.
Top? Nice.
I beat his
a-
ass. Just to preface.
I let her win.
Yeah. Did you guys feel that connection right up front, or did you guys take some time to like build that?
I don't know if she did, but I did.
Yeah.
I did not. I felt that he was a great guy. I could tell that he was handsome, obviously, and he was very sweet. We had fun, and he made me laugh. That was my conclusion after the first date. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go. Well, I take that back. I wanted to go on the second date for sure because I had so much fun with him. But I wasn't at the level of like, oh, this could be the guy. Like, he's incredible. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, first date. Because, like I said, I was prefacing it with wanting to date multiple people and just kind of really get my feel. So I wasn't so decided, even though I had fun. I had a great time.
Yeah.
So when you get a text message from like your girlfriend Daphne, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see him again. It's more like, yeah, I'll go out with him again.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, yeah, like I'll go. And they were like, oh, well, you're not sure. And normally, like, my discernment as a person is usually very, very good. So when my friends started to hear that, they were like, oh, you don't like him, do you? I was like, it's not that. I think it was huge because he made me laugh so much that I was like, regardless, he's a fun person and I enjoy it, but not at a friend zone level. I'll say that. It was not at friend zone at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't quite where he was.
Yeah.
Not friend zone, that's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Well-
Really escape.
If so, yeah, you escaped.
Well, from David's perspective, how did you feel about her on the first date?
First, I thought she was very gorgeous,
Mm-hmm.
like extremely gorgeous. I could tell she was highly intelligent, and hearing her speak about mental health, like it's not too many people that are passionate about their job, and like I like my job, but if another profession came in through more money, I would absolutely leave.
Mm-hmm.
But like hearing how passionate she was, that was just like a huge turn on.
Yeah, and that's what we like. I think men like women. I don't know, maybe not all men, but we like women who are into their passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are not just kind of floating around and don't know what they want. But that's.
I dated a lot of young ladies before. Like she was the first woman I actually been on a date with. Like so sure of herself, and just like a strong woman that knew what she wanted, knew what she was looking for. It was very intimidating. To be honest with you.
Ooh. What's the age difference between y'all?
We're the same age.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good.
So you were dating like 23-year-olds, like someone
Well,
else?
no,
kind of in this
they're around.
conversation?
No, they were around my age, but they just weren't. They were adults, but they weren't women, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not mature.
Immature.
Yeah.
She's the top tier. They were like middle tier.
Mm-hmm. So who asked who to the second date?
I did.
Yeah. And Daphne, were you kind of hesitant? Or you're like, maybe?
No, not at all.
Yeah. You were like, let's do this.
He asked and he said he wanted to spend more time. And I just thought, again, like he was very polite and he was very, very, very chivalrous, very intentful. And so I was like, oh, here's this guy. Like at first it was kind of weird. I was like, he's like really trying to spend time. He's really trying to do the right things.
Which is rare.
Which is very
Does
rare.
that mean that he opens your doors for you, Daphne?
Oh, 100%. I don't touch a door or a door handle or
I've
anything.
heard that before.
I touch nothing.
Well,
and he gets mad if I do.
Well, David's probably from Texas. Is that right? See?
From the border. I'm from
Yeah.
Texarkana.
Yeah. So we're, us Texas guys, we open doors. We do all this stuff for you guys.
Ooh, I've experienced some that aren't.
Oh, really? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's so funny
Yes.
because like I like to, kind of like I have little legs, so I tend to like walk a little faster. So there's times like Zorric is like jogging behind me to open the door, and I'm like, all right, Zorric can open the door. Like I don't have to open it because I'm so used to opening my own door.
Yeah, same. So I think with that, I was not hesitant for the second date. I just was in this conflict of like, okay, Daphne, but after the second date, you need to know 100% if you want to go further with this on a deeper level, or if you think that this is more of like friendship, even though you find him attractive and you enjoy him, but you need to know.
But,
So on that second date, like I guess, what were some of the things that kind of pushed you to like the yes, like we need to be more in a relationship, or I want to get to know this person on a more deeper level? And David, the same question goes for you too.
yeah.
Do you want to answer first, or you want me to answer?
I'll go first.
Okay.
First thing first, I beat her ass in bowling.
He did not.
Oh, jeez.
Competitive here.
I did.
He did not.
I didn't. But no, we just have fun. I just saw like a different side of her. Like I can't explain it. It was just wild ball. I can't explain it. But when we went to dinner, like usually we were talking about stuff like way below surface level. Not way below surface level, but below surface level.
I was psychoanalyzing him.
Oh no. Oh no.
And that's way out of my comfort zone, or was out of my comfort zone. And any other time I'm out of my comfort zone, I just shut down. So, but with her, it was just like, I just wanted to keep engaging. I was like, I could see this going somewhere. And it went somewhere.
Yeah, it did.
That's good.
Just sidebar, David, I think we're gonna invite you and Daphne, like when we can have like wine parties again, and we're gonna invite you guys. So imagine being in a wine party that's like half mental health clinicians and then the other half the husbands and the boyfriends.
It's horrible. It's so horrible.
Oh, I bet it is.
like we tend to, and Daphne, like I'm sure you know, like we tend to like have a few, bottles of wine, and then all of a sudden we're like, take the Enneagram test, take the 5 love languages.
Yes.
What's your Myers-Briggs or whatever crap we're into at that moment?
100%.
But I would say it's a night of free psychoanalysis. So if you need some information about yourself, David, it's free. I mean, they are like analyzing me every time. So
I think I get it every day.
yeah.
Yeah, we're at a good balance right now.
Yeah. So we're at the second date, and then now. So when, Daphne, do you make that decision to where I think David's the guy for me? Like, when does that decision happen?
So I think my decision still came after the second date, but there was a really weird thing that happened at the end of our second date. And I think that's when I knew that I liked him. But I pride myself on being authentic, so I'm more of a late processor. So something could be happening and I process it much later. And so our dates, I was still processing them, and I was processing what had just happened, and we had so much fun. I don't even think we really drank. We were just having a good time and having below surface level conversations. So we leave out of the restaurant. He walks me to his car, and so he's being cheesy. So I know he's about to do something. I just don't know what it is. And he brings me this just single long stem rose, something like out of the movies, not something people do on regular. And I just remember being so floored at the fact that he thought to consider me and knowing that I like flowers, because we had already had that conversation. And so he then went to kiss me, like to seal the deal.
Oh no! What did you do, Daphne?
I had a late response, 100%, and like he kissed me, and it was like after he kissed me, I then aggressively like launched myself towards him and kissed him, and then I felt very bad about it because I was like, oh shit, like that came way after, like it wasn't in the moment. I just like attacked him, and so I just like hugged him and was like, okay, bye. Got in the car, and literally, he didn't say anything about it, but the next day I was kind of mortified. But then I kind of sat with the thought, like, I think you like him. Like, you can't not go. You can't go to, you have to go to the third date. You have to keep spending time with him.
Never happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah, quarantine had fully hit at that point. So at that point, we decided to, like, just invite each other over to our apartments, and it really went from there. Really?
Yeah, that's super important, because if you would have kissed him and you didn't feel it, right? The chemistry, the physical chemistry, I bet you felt the butterflies and all that. Then if it felt like a brother or a friend, then that would have killed you. Yeah.
But right.
Yeah. But the good thing is you felt something, and so now, because I think, Emma, we talked about this like 2 weeks ago maybe, but you got to have more than just the talking. You have to have that physical thing, because I'm sure Daphne and David probably talked about their love languages, right? Like, what's y'all?
Sure.
What are your love languages?
So mine, I have an unofficial love language that I've had him tap into, because it was funny. Normally, I'm being the therapist. I always ask guys those questions. David actually asked. Hell yes.
On the first date or second date?
Probably, I wouldn't say on which one. I would just say the conversation comes up when we're getting to know each other, and I'm just kind of like, oh, do you know what they are? Like, lets me know if you're in tune with yourself, or if you've just never introduced. Anyway, David actually asked me, and I was like, what? Like, why did he ask me first?
Winner.
I was surprised, right?
Yeah.
But I would say my unofficial love language is definitely music. It doesn't count in there, but music for sure. Words of affirmation is huge. Really, all of them. Quality time.
Uh-oh. What does your test say, though? I mean,
She's so needy.
My test says quality time, words of affirmation, and I think acts of service is what the test
You
says.
have 3 like me too.
100%. I have a pretty good balance. I just need intent is what I need.
Yeah. David, what are your love languages?
I never took a test.
uh-oh.
But
You have homework now.
unofficial quality time for sure. And I gotta say acts of service.
Yeah.
But mostly just being intentional.
Yeah, that's good. That's good too. Like setting the stage. What is it called? Tempo.
Yeah.
Like, taking her out, doing things for her. So who's typically planning the dates? Is it both you guys, or is it David? Or
I think it's a pretty good balance now. Like, we just go for what we like to do.
No.
He was shaking his head no. He's lying.
It's pretty much all me.
Okay, we went to the Arboretum, and that was really, really nice. That was a big date that he planned, because he knows I love flowers. So it was like a surprise during this pandemic time. As soon as it opens, he already had tickets. So that was really nice. But I think for the most part, it's a good mix, right? No.
What have you planned?
Well,
we're gonna work on it.
We went to the park. We went walking, and that was my plan. Yes, it was. It was.
That was my plan.
It was.
Uh-oh.
That was my plan.
Oh damn! I think it was his plan actually. So I think he may take the cake for being planner, for sure.
So
he might. I may come back though.
yeah. So you guys have been dating since February. So you guys typically, so my therapist, when I was dating somebody, she says, well, you need to know who your partner is seeing, what she's doing. So did you guys have some sort of game plan that said, okay, you asked David, hey David, who did you see at work, or who have you seen this week? Did you guys talk about that stuff, about who you've met out and about during quarantine?
I don't think schedule-wise. I think that in general, because he knows I'm gonna get underneath the surface anyway if we talk. So then it's been more of like, oh, well, so-and-so was here, or John was here, and I'm like, oh, who's John? And then it's like, okay, this is John, and I may say, oh, I had to train someone today. Oh, who was that? And I'll tell him. So we kind of just like do it unintentionally, I think, to really just know what's going on in each other's lives. So I don't know.
So there was like no concerns like being around other people just during
during like COVID. Well,
Yeah.
We're not really, other than our families, we're not really around other people. And then work, but like I work in the healthcare field too, so I gotta wear a surgical mask whenever I do go in.
Yeah. So, and I think especially during the pandemic, David was actually working from home.
Trying to keep that going.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are, but I was still working with patients. So one of my main concerns, I think one was not not trying to infect him with anything or bring any, I don't know, just the virus to him or his family. And so I remember one week I think I had allergies and I had a cough, and I told him, I was like, hey, we can't have our date today. And he was like, why? And I was like, well, I'm coughing and I don't know if it's the COVID. It could be the Rona. So
she already gave me a Rona like 7 times.
Stop. No. But we definitely did, as we started to get to a point of like really, like, I guess, to answer your question, like caring for each other, those conversations came up of like, hey, don't think it's a good idea to be around you right now because I have a patient that's coughing on the unit or whatever, or vice versa. But he's, for the most part, was pretty safe in non-contact for the most part until like now that people are opening up. But I was full-fledged. So he did a thing. You want to tell him what you did?
Oh, jeez.
What I do?
What happened?
When you were providing.
Oh.
You got sorry.
Well, since I was working from home and I knew she was working, she didn't really have time to go to the stores. And there's a lot of stores on my side of town. Bless you. And so I was able to find like some cleaning supplies for her and disinfectants. So I gave them to her like a little quarantine Easter basket.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm gonna write that down.
It was the cutest thing, but honestly, it was one of those things where I was able to observe that this is a person who truly cares just about my safety, because this was during the time where everyone were losing the hysteria had hit.
No toilet paper.
Yeah, no toilet paper, not a drop of sanitization anywhere. And here I am, essential worker, working my ass off during this time, and I can't even get off work and get food. I can't get off work and get any disinfectant, anything that I need. So here he starts to come, just like, I still have loads. I mean, I still have a lot of stuff, but it was really sweet. And I think that was another thing that kind of kept pushing me along in the dating, because that was pretty big for me.
Yeah. So what about the times where you guys are kind of disagreeing, or you guys are like always seeing each other? I mean, because I think that's why my ex and myself broke up, is because we were kind of stuck to each other all the time. And I think we got sick of each other. And on top of that, you hear these stories about there's going to be like a record number of divorces after this whole time, this and that.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So how did you guys deal with like, being together all the time? I mean, were there issues or?
We really weren't. She needs space. There's a healthy balance. Like, good. I'll just be like, hit me up whenever you're ready to see me, basically. And now she's very clingy.
I said I was a late processor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be like I'm not gonna. I would want to see her like immediately, but I was like, I don't want her to get tired of me, so I was like, I give her space and just a healthy balance.
David, that's the game we have to play. It's like we can't be too into you. So we gotta like play cool and like text you every few days, and because you'll get sick of us.
He probably would have lost me if he was doing all of that.
Well, really?
Oh yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah, because I mean, like it was like the conversation would be going. So if I just kind of like ducked off, because it would have just hit like, oh, you're inconsistent. If it started that way, then maybe it would have been different. That would have been our boundaries per se, but it didn't start that way. So I think that's when people, right, they do the whole 90-day rule and all these other like dating gimmicks to see if a person's going to stick around or if they're worth sticking around. And I think for him, it was huge. And I think vice versa, because we just engaged the way that we actually felt. And I think that's what set the tone for the relationship.
In other words, you guys were not holding back. You guys were just talking. You went for it. No games. Because if you think about it, Daphne, if you were, because I think your mentality earlier was, hey, I want to date other people and see how it's going. So maybe David would have seen that, a little delay here and there. And so it kind of worked out that you guys met at this time, right? Like perfect timing.
It was, for sure.
Yeah.
Even with Bumble. We could have missed each other.
Yeah, because I literally was about to. I was sick and tired. This force of like trying to engage in this internet dating type of world, but then also the force of, well, I'm not around people enough to know any men in this area. I'm not from here. I don't really like to go out to the club. I'm work and go home, and then I hang out with friends, and that's about it. So I decided to try it one last time, and literally, Exhibit A. But yeah, I don't know. I think one of the things that made more of a shift too was you talk about us being like we didn't hold back. I definitely didn't. That was one of my like relinquishing of a rule trying to date. I was like, I'm not gonna go into it with all these gimmicks of like, oh, he needs to give me all this energy or like all these prerequisites or expectations of this guy that I have no idea who he is. And I had to be real and own up to some stuff as a woman of where I was ready and was not ready for certain things. So I think argument wise and being around each other wise, usually I just kind of kick it to him straight. Like I'll just tell him like, hey, either today was a long day, I'm overstimulated, I need to just kind of be by myself. And he usually receives that pretty well.
It's Call of Duty time.
Yeah. So David, this is just for you only, because I learned a lot about myself during quarantine. Like I actually don't need to eat at fancier restaurants or go to the bar every weekend.
I mean,
but
we don't need it.
We don't need it, but we want it.
And
But
it's still very important.
Yeah, and I learned that I'm pretty handy and I can build stuff. But did you learn anything about yourself, David, like during quarantine?
I found out who I was.
Yeah.
Me and Daphne had this conversation earlier, and like I was unsure of who I was because all I heard was I'm a nice guy, and like I kept falling to that nice guy finish last.
In
and like
the
dating, dating and in life in general.
Yeah.
And like dating her kind of helped validated that it was right to stick to who I was or who I am.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. What about you, Daphne?
I like that, Daphne.
Did you learn
were
something?
Able to like validate him.
Yeah.
I've learned two things. I definitely learned, not to be too deep here, but I definitely learned not to be so strong. I've always just been that person where I can easily help put someone else back together, but everything that I carry is on my shoulders and always. So here was this man coming into my life, letting me know like, hey, I'm willing and I'm able to carry the load or lessen the load. And by no means do I mean like I'm throwing all my shit on him or anything.
Right.
But he just kind of came in my life as this strong man that was just letting me know that, hey, I'm at the table. Hell, I built the table, and here's the table for you to sit at, instead of you being the one that's bringing everything to every relationship or every friendship that you have. So that was huge for me to learn more about my femininity, if there's a cross for me. I felt like I tapped into a different, because I was already tapping into a very feminine source of like healing and really paying attention to who I am as a woman in this stage of life and with everything going on, and taking that hat off of being the caretaker or being the saver for anyone else. So it was very interesting. Sorry. It was very interesting to me to tap even more into this feminine role of like having a man who was wanting to take care of me and me not wanting you to want to take care of me. That was kind of huge. He kind of took the burdens for himself and just showed me instead of me having to figure out, ask questions, be worried. And I think other things that I learned is that my dog is not good off of his medication. We're definitely trying to get that back going right now.
Crazy. So, in other words, Daphne, I think you were independent. Maybe you're
100%.
too strong-headed, and now you're like, okay, let's just tone it down. Let's see if I can just kind of tone it down a little bit and see how it goes, and that's kind of what happened. Nice.
It's a scary balance.
Nice.
It is scary balance.
But he balances it, which is what's nice.
Well, I think he shares the load, right? Seems sort of equal now, right?
Yes.
You know?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. Cool. Emma, we're already at 46 minutes. We can talk to them forever. So let's ask them one more question, Emma. This is a very important question. How do you have a successful relationship during quarantine? That's an easy question to answer. Easy, right?
Just be intentional.
Yeah.
You gotta hope and pray for the best.
I say cut the shit.
There you go.
Like it's really simple. And the funny thing is, I mean, obviously it was great timing, and he is just a phenomenal guy.
Stole me from my other girl.
Shut up. All right, I don't know if y'all heard that, but I definitely say cut the shit. I think a lot of, even now in our relationship, as it continues to bloom and as it continues to grow, David often will let me know, like, cut the shit. Like, do you want me to do it or do you not want me to do it? Or just tell me how you really feel. And I think that's a lot of what we assume the other person wants off of all these other things that we did in our previous dating life. And I think for me, and maybe for anyone else, if they're going into a different relationship, especially during this time, like, you're going to have to be flexible, and you're going to have to cut the shit, and you're going to have to own your own shit.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good. So just to recap, I think, David, you're saying date with intention, right? Date with a purpose. Like,
yes.
You know, and then Daphne's saying just be upfront. Don't BS around. Don't BS us. You know, we want to find somebody, or at least I do. So, yeah. What else? Anything else before we get out of here? Emma?
Yes.
You have anything else? What did you learn from this lovely couple?
I learned that love can even happen during a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic.
See? And I learned that this is tried and true, but it's all about timing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, it was great to have you guys on the show. So we have a new studio. I'm here. So whenever things, come back, you guys should come back and hang with us and have some drinks, and we can have some food and, have a good time. So we'd love to have you back.